We have had no communication between our family and theirs. It's absolutely absurd. We don't understand why. They were traveling together. At some point, you left there. We know you've been home since September 1st. You know something. And the fact that you're hiding behind your attorney, which we understand your constitutional rights not to speak, but it doesn't make any sense to us. None whatsoever.
Remember that was Gabby Petito's stepfather, James Schmidt, expressing his frustration with the Laundrie family in the days following Gabby's disappearance back in 2021. Now they're taking the Laundrie family to court, and a pretrial hearing is scheduled for this afternoon for the lawsuit filed by Gabby Petito's family against the parents of Brian Laundrie. In the suit, Petito's parents, Joe Petito and Nicole Schmidt, claim that the Laundries were aware of Brian's involvement in Gabby's death, but decided to stay silent and help Brian flee the country instead. Court TV affiliate WFTS has more.
According to the lawsuit, the Petito family says that the Laundries have caused them great pain and mental anguish, and now they're hoping they'll pay up. When Brian Laundrie's body was found last October, he was only listed as a person of interest in Gabby Petito's death. But a lawsuit filed in Sarasota County claims that he killed her and that his parents knew. According to the FBI, Laundrie also took responsibility for Gabby's death in a journal he left behind. Gabby's parents have filed the suit, and they're now seeking damages from the Laundrie family. The 6-page document alleges that Brian killed Gabby, told his parents about it, and then sent text messages between her phone and his phone to try and cover it up. It also says that the Laundries knew where Brian was after he went missing in September, and that the Laundries blocked the Petitos from communicating with them directly when they reached out for more information about their daughter's death. The lawyer for the Laundrie family is hitting back. In a statement, he said in part, quote, "Assuming everything the Petitos allege in their lawsuit is true, which we deny, this lawsuit does not change the fact that the Laundries had no obligation to speak to law enforcement or any third party, including the Petito family. This fundamental legal principle renders the Petitos' claims to be baseless under the law." In response, the Petito family attorney is doubling down. He also released a statement saying the Laundries knew about Gabby's death in August. He also said in part, quote, "Chris and Roberta had multiple opportunities to disclose to Joe and Nicole or the authorities that Gabby was no longer alive and direct them to her body. Instead, Christopher and Roberta Laundrie showed callous indifference to the suffering of Gabby's family and compounded her family's anguish, pain, and suffering by their actions. For this, Christopher and Roberta must be held accountable." The amount of money that the Petitos are hoping to be awarded has not been released, but we do know, according to that lawsuit, that it will be greater than $30,000. In Tampa, Rochelle Oline, ABC Action News.
Thanks to Rose. Court TV cameras are in place for this hearing. The pretrial hearing scheduled for 1:30 Eastern today should decide if the case will proceed to a jury trial sometime next year. We'll take you to the courtroom live as soon as it gets underway. Let's return to our guest, Commonwealth Attorney Anton Bell in Hampton, Virginia. This is a difficult case, Anton, because we've always been told, stay silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. So the Laundries, as despicable as their actions may be to some, the idea that they didn't talk to the Petitos or authorities, that's their right, isn't it? How do you think this is going to go today?
So I remember following this case and actually doing commentary on this particular case when we were looking for Gabby. And it is a heart-wrenching type case because of the loss, and given the fact that it is alleged that the family knew that she had been murdered sometime prior to the discovery of her body and yet did not say anything. The question is, did that family have a legal obligation to disclose to the Laundries that she was already dead and that her body was located wherever she was discovered? And that's a very tough hurdle to accomplish. I don't know if they're going to be able to get there, because just the fact that they just remain silent and nothing else, that's very, very difficult to be able to get that legal hurdle of intentional infliction of emotional distress. I think it's hard for them to get that case.
The judge is going to be making a decision. I'd argue that a jury might go with them because they'll be so disgusted by their behavior. But the judge is going to follow the law, and we'll have to see how that plays out. Bottom line, yes or no, do you think this proceeds to the next level, or is it going to get nipped in the butt today by the judge after these arguments?
I think it gets nipped.
Interesting, yeah. We'll watch it play out. It's going to be emotional. The witness list has been released, and it's extensive. You got Petito's family members, and then a few representatives of law enforcement as well, FBI representatives. It's, again, going to play out here on Court TV at 1:30 Eastern Time. We want to say thank you to Anton Bell for everything. As always, his valuable time and expertise this morning. Always a pleasure to have you on, Anton. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll step aside, take a break. More right after this.
JoinCalibrate.com.
Welcome back. A Los Angeles jury has found embattled comedian Bill Cosby liable in a decades-old sexual battery case. Judith Huth sued Cosby for allegedly molesting her at the Playboy Mansion in 1975 when she was only 16 years old. The jury awarded Huth $500,000 in damages. After the verdict, she said she was pleased to get a resolution after all these years, saying, quote, "This to me is such a big victory. It really is to all victims." This is the first civil case by a Cosby accuser that made it all the way to trial. Since 2005, more than 50 women have come forward with allegations of sexual assault. Through his lawyers, Cosby has denied all of them. Now, it is time for your lunchtime true crime break. Up next is It Takes a Killer, a wolf in women's clothing. This episode looks at the murder of a millionaire doctor's wife and the massive manhunt for the killer, with a history of violence and cross-dressing. And then we'll see you back here at 1 o'clock for the dramatic conclusion to Tennessee versus Hayden Berkebile as the verdict is read. Plus,
we have had no communication between our family and theirs. It's absolutely absurd. We don't understand why.
at 1:30 Eastern Time, it is a courtroom battle between Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie.